he's doing it for the right reason, actually want to do it because of just like actually want to box, it's cool. But if he's doing it for like the wrong reason, just to get the hype and stuff like that, I feel as though it's trash.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him? Sometimes people get bored at what they doing, and they want to try other stuff. Got to be mentally tough to be in the box.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis recently weighed in on the highly anticipated matchup between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, offering an in-depth breakdown of the fight from a technical and strategic perspective. Known for his fierce fighting style and keen insight into the sport, Davis provided a unique analysis of what each fighter brings to the ring and what fans can expect when the two square off.
So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Davis acknowledged Jake Paul's impressive rise in the boxing world, noting that Paul has worked hard to evolve from a YouTuber-turned-boxer into a more refined and disciplined fighter. However, Davis didn't hold back on his assessment of Paul's limitations, especially when it comes to facing a legendary fighter like Tyson. Davis highlighted that while Paul has shown growth in his skills and awareness in the ring, his lack of experience and technical refinement could be a liability when facing Tyson's explosive speed and aggression.
I mean, I don't like how people just can be able to come in and just say, oh, I'm fighting or be a boxer, but then again, it is entertaining, you know what I mean? But I don't want to sound like no hater.
Yeah, for sure.
But he doing his thing. He lost. That's a good thing.
When it came to Tyson, Davis was clear that the 58-year-old former heavyweight champion still possesses tremendous power and speed, enough to be a major threat to a less experienced fighter like Paul. According to Davis, Tyson's ability to deliver intense pressure and quick combinations could be overwhelming for Paul. Davis emphasized Tyson's unique style of slipping and countering, which he's famous for. Moreover, Davis offered specific advice on how Jake Paul might have a chance if he can make it through the initial rounds, where Tyson's power and explosiveness are likely at their peak. According to Davis, Jake should prioritize defense, staying agile and avoiding getting caught in close range with Tyson. He also pointed out that while Paul has size and youth on his side, he'll need to be disciplined enough to avoid engaging Tyson directly. Instead, Davis recommends that Paul stay on the outside, use his jab to control the range, and avoid Tyson's power shots. Davis believes that the psychological aspect of the fight could be one of Paul's biggest challenges.
Would you ever entertain them type of fights? Like, obviously, it's not a real, like, you a real boxer, it's different. But the money they make it like people, I see a couple real boxers be thinking about stuff like that because they're making so much bread. Is that something that you would ever entertain like that?
In my, like, right now, I feel as though I'm not in that space to be able to do that.
Tyson is known for his intimidating presence and ability to psychologically dismantle his opponents before the first bell even rings. He explained that Jake Paul's self-confidence and bravado might be tested in ways he hasn't experienced before, especially against an icon like Tyson. Davis warned that if Paul allows himself to be intimidated by Tyson's reputation and presence, it could be his undoing. As for his prediction, Davis admitted that while Jake Paul has shown promise, he believes the fight heavily favors Tyson, especially if Mike goes in aggressively from the start. Davis gave Tyson the edge, anticipating that Tyson's raw power and boxing IQ could lead to an early knockout if Paul doesn't stay disciplined and avoid those big punches. However, Davis acknowledged that anything is possible in the ring, especially if Paul can avoid Tyson's explosive bursts and maintain control over the pacing of the fight. Davis wrapped up his analysis by emphasizing that the fight will ultimately test both fighters' abilities and determination. For Davis, the bout is a fascinating clash between a young fighter eager to prove himself and a veteran legend whose legacy speaks for itself.
No, man, I feel as though Floyd can be able to do that because he done accomplished a lot of stuff in the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Floyd can be able to do that, but me as right now, I don't think so.
Moreover, Calvin Ford, the trainer of Gervonta Davis, told Fight Hype that he has his doubts about the fight. He said, "I'm worried about Mike's health right now. That's the only thing. They had good promotion, good hype about the fight. So right now we just gotta wait to see how Mike's health is. He's not a spring chicken either, but he is a legend." But some boxing insiders have shared why they believe Jake Paul will overcome Mike Tyson in the ring. At 27, the YouTuber turned boxer has made waves in the sport, frequently facing ex-UFC fighters who are no longer at their peak. With a single defeat on his record against Tommy Fury, Paul is now preparing to challenge the sport's youngest ever heavyweight champion in a match featuring 2-minute rounds and 14-ounce gloves. It's been 38 years since Tyson first captured a championship title. Though he stepped away from the ring in 2005 after a string of losses, many in the boxing community are warning that entering this event could be unwise. In a recent interview with Sky Sports, Lennox Lewis, who famously defeated Iron Mike Tyson in 2002, reflected on his first reaction to the fight's announcement. He said, "I was thinking that Jake Paul was going to be in trouble because Mike Tyson knows how to throw great body punches, great headshots. We just have to see if he's going to do them in the ring. I'm hoping that he'll do that." When asked whether his 58-year-old former opponent might regain his form, the Lion said yes. He added, "It's a task. It's hard to box when you're that old, moving around the ring, throwing punches, getting punches thrown at you, but I think he can handle it." Lastly, a question about his predictions for the 8-rounder was posed. He further expressed, "Mike Tyson just kind of cutting off the ring, throwing body and head blows when he can catch up to Jake Paul. I'm sure Jake Paul will be moving fast, moving around the ring. He's not going to want to stand there and get hit by Mike Tyson. I'll be there. It's going to be exciting." Hall of Fame boxing referee Richard Steele warned about the upcoming fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. "With Mike Tyson, it's so dangerous even for the referee, because you got to be close, but you got to be far away to be able to allow them to do their thing." Steele, who refereed 6 of Tyson's fights, told USA Today Sports. He said, "You had to be always aware of what's going on because one of Mike Tyson's punches could really hurt the other guy, and maybe he doesn't need to take the other punch." The public remains in the dark about who will assume that role. Tella Mange, spokesperson for Texas Combat Sports Regulatory Department, stated last week that there are still no updates on the selection of referees or judges for the Tyson-Paul fight scheduled for November 15th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. One thing is clear: Steele, now 80, will not be stepping into the ring for this one. "No, man, I had enough," he said. However, he shared his views on several subjects, noting that the 2-minute rounds could put Paul at a disadvantage in an 8-round match. "I don't see the guy going that distance with Tyson," said Steele, who boxed professionally, going 12-4 from 1966 to 1970 before becoming a referee in 1972. He added, "Because Tyson, he's so strong, and he's an ex-champion. He knows what he's doing, and for 2 minutes, he can go all out." The extra padding in the 14-ounce gloves that would be worn in place of the customary 10-ounce gloves would also not help Paul, according to Steele. "That's still a small glove thinking about the power of Mike Tyson," he said. On October 23, 1999, Steele refereed a much-anticipated match involving Tyson. As the bell rang to close out the first round, Tyson threw a punch that sent his opponent, Orlin Norris, crashing to the canvas. Steele deducted 2 points from Tyson on the judges' scorecards as Norris argued he had suffered a knee injury from the knockdown, which he said left him unable to go on. With Norris unable to continue, the fight was stopped and ruled a no contest. Steele said of Norris, "He didn't want no more. He just took the knee as a way to get out of the fight. It was a definite foul, but I think the punch was on the way and he couldn't stop it." According to Steele, he just watched a video of Tyson, 58, working a heavy bag in preparation for his bout with Paul, 27. Steele said, "He's still dangerous. He has so much power. I just hope he don't end up getting hurt or hurt the other guy." The 58-year-old Tyson hasn't competed professionally since 2005, when he was forced to retire on his stool by Kevin McBride. Paul has spent the last 5 years establishing himself in the world of professional boxing, and now, at 27, is in peak physical form. Katie Taylor, however, admits she's concerned for Mike Tyson as he prepares to go up against Paul. Taylor, who will be squaring off with Amanda Serrano in tonight's co-main event, grew up idolizing Tyson. Like many others in the boxing world who've drawn inspiration from him, she finds the idea of seeing him take hits from Paul unsettling. "Yeah, there are obviously concerns there," the undisputed super lightweight queen said. She added, "As an icon of the sport, I have so much respect for Mike Tyson as a fighter and what he has done for the sport. He's in there against a real young, fresh guy in Jake Paul, and he's a good athlete as well. But Mike Tyson seems to be very confident in himself. He seems to be putting the work in and training hard, so I hope he comes out on top." Almost 2 decades after stepping away from boxing, the former undisputed heavyweight champion is back, ready to take on an opponent 30 years his junior. This controversial bout has sparked criticism throughout the boxing world, with many expressing concern over the evident risks. These worries were highlighted when a medical issue with Tyson initially postponed the fight, leading to former UFC fighter Mike Perry stepping in. Despite his efforts, Perry was stopped within 6 rounds. Following the loss, Perry appeared on Paul's podcast and made a victory prediction. Perry said, "I think Jake wins. I think you're younger, and I think you're doing the right things as far as what your team has you doing. It works. I wasn't able to add anything up on you. I wasn't able to have you punch yourself out. I wasn't able to get you on the ropes where I could release a flurry, and at 58, Mike's age is something I'm thinking about. I think you get that." 3 months later, in a candid interview on the Overdogs podcast, the bare-knuckle fighter fighter, who's faced his share of challenges beyond the ring, echoed Roy Jones Jr. as prediction of a Tyson victory. Perry expressed his belief that Mike would step into the ring with the same ease and instinct as if he'd never left, likening it to riding a bike. Reflecting on their last appearances, he admired how both fighters had showcased their vast experience and skill. Perry admitted that Tyson's technical prowess far exceeded his own, and anticipated that Mike wouldn't feel the need to push the pace, which he believed would make for a compelling fight.
I think Mike too. I think Mike's gonna be just like, it's like riding a bike for him.
Savvy.
I mean, you guys looked great when you guys fought.
Yep, I'm telling you, he's still powerful.
A lot of experience in that ring, and you know, he's a lot smarter than I am, for sure, when it comes to boxing technique.
Been doing it his whole life.
He's not gonna feel overwhelmed to try and push the action.
Not at all.
That's gonna be interesting to see.
An increasing number of boxing personalities are sharing their predictions for the highly anticipated Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul showdown. The latest to offer his insight is heavyweight contender Jarrell Miller, the bold and brash American known for his larger-than-life personality. Miller, who has sparred with notable names like Daniel Dubois and Andy Ruiz, is no stranger to the spotlight. During a recent chat with pro boxing fans, Miller revealed details about the upcoming bout, noting that he had initially been scheduled to fight on the same card earlier this year. He said, "I was supposed to be on the last undercard they had before it got pulled. Some miscommunication there." He then discussed his thoughts on the altercation, acknowledging that Paul's youth might have been a decisive element. He said, "If the fight happens, I don't know who's going to win that one. Jake is the younger guy, but this is boxing." The latest opponent to face Paul in the boxing ring is former UFC star Mike Perry, who agreed to the bout following a heated incident with Tyson in July. However, he has now completely changed his initial outlook on the fight. The 31-year age difference between Tyson and Paul has sparked considerable attention, especially with Iron Mike set to step into the ring at 58 against the 27-year-old Paul. What makes this even more intriguing is that the fight almost didn't take place. It was originally slated for July, but was postponed after Tyson suffered an ulcer flare-up. Despite these setbacks, a key figure has voiced strong support for Tyson, someone who has seen the highs and lows of the boxing world firsthand, and even faced Jake Paul in the ring himself.
Well, I felt like it was for him a much safer fight than fighting someone like myself, because for me, it's like, yeah, we both older, but we both know the game. Jake is learning the game, so it's a little bit easier to try to take a chance with a guy who's learning the game as opposed to a guy who knows the game.
The legendary Stockton native and former UFC star Nate Diaz recently shared a picture of Mike Tyson after a training session on his Instagram account. The caption said, "Let's go, Mike," and Tyson was wearing attire from Diaz's clothing line. Despite Diaz's steadfast backing of Tyson, the legendary boxer has stirred up some controversy with his recent comments about his expectations for the upcoming showdown with Jake Paul. Tyson had confessed, "If I win, I'll be immortal. If I do it bad, I don't want to die in a hospital bedroom. I want to die in the ring." But according to Eddie Hearn, a respected figure in boxing promotion, this fight is dangerous, irresponsible, and disrespectful to boxing. Having seen the triumphs and downfalls of boxing icons, Hearn considers Tyson's return a risky gamble. At 58, the idea of Iron Mike stepping into the ring with the much younger Paul seems like a recipe for disaster in Hearn's eyes. In a conversation with BBC Sport, Hearn stated, "I'm in awe of him. He's one of my favorite ever fighters, one of the greatest of all time. But he's a 58-year-old man. You only need to speak to him and look at him to know this guy should not be in a ring again." As the excitement builds for the highly anticipated showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, one prominent voice rises above the fray, urging caution, not in favor of the legendary Tyson, but in warning against him. Richard Steele, the esteemed Hall of Fame referee with a front row seat to Tyson's ferocious ring presence, offers a stark caution. Stepping into the ring with Tyson, even at 58, is like facing a lion in its den. A key point of contention among boxing experts and fans is the striking age disparity between the two fighters, Tyson, 58, and the 27-year-old Paul. This difference has sparked intense debates across the boxing community, with many pondering how age could impact the fight's result. The scenario presents a fascinating contrast: Tyson's wealth of experience versus Paul's youthful vigor and potential. Interestingly, UFC sensation Sean O'Malley seems to be weighing in on the conversation as well. He said, "There are limits to what you can do. I mean, his body has been through it, you know. You can't count him out. I just feel like Jake's too locked in too. In it, he has been in it too long, like in the last 5 years, who has been in it more? I think that matters, and wait, he's 30 years younger. I just don't see this ending well for Uncle Mike Tyson. The Montana native offered a well-considered assessment, rightly highlighting the physical challenges Tyson encounters at 58. Additionally, he observed that Paul has steadily refined his abilities, emerging as a formidable force in the arena. Suga stated, "Speed, I mean power. Even at this point, Jake's not a little guy. Jake's a big fella, he is just locked in. I think the rule set will play a role." In 2020, Iron Mike last entered the ring for an exhibition bout against Roy Jones Jr. For those who may not be aware, O'Malley reflected upon Tyson's 4-year layoff and said, "So for him to just come up and get a fight, I'm sure he's going to be in as good shape as he possibly could be in. But it's just, it's not his time right now." This debate has dominated conversations all year, with many backing the seasoned Mike Tyson to defeat Jake Paul. However, the problem child, while acknowledging the weight of the upcoming bout, could very well outperform Tyson, especially given his youth advantage. Paul has also proven his capabilities by taking down well-known former UFC fighters like Tyrone Woodley and Anderson Silva. Moreover, Sean O'Malley has shown interest in facing Paul in the ring, driven by the potential for a lucrative payday. This cross-promotional clash could be on the horizon if it comes to fruition. Tyson recently shared a stunning photo highlighting his sculpted physique, a sight sure to send a chill down Paul's spine. As the highly anticipated match approaches, Iron Mike has been offering fans an inside look at his intense training on social media. In his latest post on X, Tyson displayed a dynamic action shot paired with a brief but intense warning aimed directly at the problem child.
Normally after you work out, it takes really 2 days for the body to recover. I'm the kind of guy, I'm on my recovery time. I don't know, I might do 6,000 reps on the rower, it's the sickness in me.
Yeah.
It's just the sickness.
What's a typical day? Are you still waking up early in the morning like you did before?
Yeah.
You still do the road work?
I get up in the morning, I do the road work.
How many miles?
4 miles on the treadmill, 4 miles, 5. 'Cause I can't do it outside. People with me. Yeah. Right, so I go on the treadmill. After that, I do the rower for I might do 3,000 rows, then come back later, do another 3,000. Then the next morning, do another 3,000. I got 7,000 rows within a day and a half.
Mike Tyson's last professional fight occurred in April 2005, where he was defeated by Kevin McBride via technical knockout, prompting his exit from the sport. However, Tyson returned to the ring in 2020 for an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr., which ended in a draw. Meanwhile, the problem child recently triumphed over Mike Perry, pushing his record to an impressive 10 wins and just 1 loss. His only setback remains a defeat to Tommy Fury. The 30-year gap between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul has raised concerns among fans about the legendary boxer's well-being, with Paul, 27, recently demonstrating his prowess in a standout fight against former UFC fighter Mike Perry. Many are questioning whether it's fair for Tyson to enter the ring with someone at the peak of their physical prime. The announcement of the fight ignited widespread frustration and outrage, with many critics lambasting Paul for what they saw as an unjust and nonsensical matchup. Detractors contend that he should be fighting opponents closer to his own age, instead of stepping into the ring with Tyson. This widespread discontent seems to explain the fans' visible disapproval, which has translated into a hesitance to buy tickets for the event. Tyson also shared his thoughts on the prospect of facing Jake Paul in the ring. Aware of their 31-year age gap, Tyson being 58 and Paul 27, he looked back on their past encounters. Tyson remembered offering Paul a platform by allowing him to join him on stage during his fight with Roy Jones. Now, having played a part in kickstarting Paul's career, Tyson finds himself contemplating the idea of potentially bringing it to a close.
Oh, that's so ill. I'm 60 years old, he's 27, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're older than he is, but you are Mike Tyson and he isn't.
Exactly. I started, to matter of fact, thank you. I started Jake Paul off.
Can I ask you, how did you start him off?
On my fight with Roy Jones, I allowed him to fight on the card, and I decided I started him, and I'm going to finish him.
During the press conference, Jake Paul boldly drew a parallel between himself and the legendary Muhammad Ali, launching pointed verbal strikes at Canelo Alvarez. As their highly anticipated November clash draws near, the excitement continues to build, intensified by Paul's thrilling confrontation with Tyson at Fanatics Fest NYC at the Javits Center. Known for his showmanship as much as his boxing ability, Paul proves that his talent for self-promotion is as powerful as his presence in the ring, cementing his status as a fierce competitor in the sport. Asked about about his critics, he said, "At the end of the day, people are always going to have something to say. It's because of who I am. I proved everyone wrong." Reminder, the most hated and most criticized boxer in the sport of boxing before they loved them was Muhammad Ali. Paul is also already looking ahead to what comes next after the Tyson fight. He added, "I'm still on the path to become world champion. There's a lot of talkers out there, a lot of big names who want to fight me. I still want Canelo Alvarez and I want to go on the path to world championship, and that's what I'm here to do. And I will make it happen. And when it happens, people are going to go, God damn, that kid did something we didn't." As the countdown to their upcoming clash intensifies, Mike Tyson has issued a chilling ultimatum to Jake Paul. He would face off with anyone, even Paul's mother, if it came to that. Tyson was asked about his concerns for Paul's safety, given the immense challenge he faces. The boxing legend responded with unwavering confidence, stating that the 26-year-old understands the seriousness of the situation, implying even his mother wouldn't be spared. He stated, "Whoever is in that ring has a problem with me. If my mother stepped into the ring, she has a problem with me. Don't go in that ring if you don't want that problem." As the November fight draws near, concerns have been raised regarding the boxing legend's health, particularly after Tyson withdrew from the original July fight. However, in the same interview, when asked about his current health status, the former world champion reassured, "Everything is sorted out. I had an ulcer problem. I was eating bad food." When questioned about his readiness for the November 15th bout, Iron Mike Tyson responded with a humble, "Thank God." He believes that the gap in their abilities will ultimately determine Paul's downfall. "He can fight for boxers his level. I do not believe he can compete at my level," Tyson said. He added, "I'm just going in there with bad intentions, and my intention is to hurt this young man as soon as I catch him, because he's going to run like a thief. I don't see how he's going to make it an exciting fight by running all day. He's supposed to be the young guy. He's supposed to walk right through me. I'm an old man, but he's going to run all night. He should try it. He's a younger man. He should be able to take punches from an old and withering man like me." Asked why he's fighting, Tyson replied, "Making history. This is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio. They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim. And this is to make history. The people think I'm going to get knocked out by this strong, powerful guy." So, that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.